Good afternoon, everyone. I'm not a beekeeper, but I'm an agribusiness researcher with Cooper and the team from Southern Cross Uni, and I will be talking about Pacific honey branding and marketing, aspirations for the future. But I know that I'm also in a room full of people who know what they're doing when it comes to branding and marketing. I'm just going to give a few tips of what we've learned also from our research, and maybe current things that are happening, maybe new innovations in marketing that you could utilize. All right, so in 2020, we had carried out, after discussions with Fiji Beekeepers Association, we had carried out a consumer preference survey. And the reason for this is when we had talked with Fiji Beekeepers Association, they had said, one of the things we'd like to do is to start to break into export. But we realized that we don't know much about our own market, our own domestic market. So what are the things that we need to know about marketing and branding for our consumers and customers here before we create a pathway towards export? So one of the questions we asked was, give us one word that comes to your mind when you think of Fiji honey. So this is what this word cloud represents. So the larger letters, or the larger words, are what most people think about when they're thinking about Fiji honey. It's sweet, it's pure, it's healthy, it's organic. Someone did say it reminds me of my wife, but that's small. So I think I'm starting off with this slide because I'd like us, this is the sort of the tone or the questions that I'd like us to keep in mind as I'm talking through the presentation. What comes to your mind when you think of honey or bee products from the Pacific? What stands out for you? And who are we or you producing for? I think a lot of what before the Congress, I didn't realize the buzzing activity in beekeepers across the Pacific. I was just mainly focused with Fiji beekeepers. So I'm glad that I can be here to actually learn a lot and hear a lot from people, from beekeepers, and I can hear a lot of the impacts of climate change. So there are some things that we can control and some things that we can't, but some things that we can try and make better for ourselves. So when we're thinking of branding, and I know most of you have already got logos, you've already got images in your mind about what your products are, what they are currently, what they want to be. And so I'm just going to introduce very briefly this, and this is some of the slides that we used in our training when we shared this information with Fiji beekeepers. And I guess that was an area that some beekeepers have highlighted, the importance of sharing market knowledge. Yeah? So this is the simplest explanation of what is branding. In the most simplest way, it's the process or involves creating a specific name and specifically, or probably more dominantly, an image of your honey product and your business. So it's creating a logo and colors is just one part of the process. But there's branding and there's effective branding. So branding essentially sets you apart, and I'm sure most of you know it sets you apart from the numerous competitors and the numerous products that are out there. And ideally that leads to increase in sales. But what we should probably be thinking about, particularly in light of climate change and in light of disease and in light of many other issues, is more effective branding. This is branding that has a longer term impact. How do you retain your customers? Customer loyalty. How do you establish yourself in the market so that when people even see your colors, they know, oh, that's that beekeeper, or that's an association, that's the community honey of X. And also establishment in the community. So I didn't want to highlight particular brands of honey because I know all of you have your own way of branding, but I also wanted to get some examples from the Pacific of people who are currently doing their own branding. So I'm sure a lot of people know about Tana coffee from Vanuatu, and we also have, there's a lot of outlets across the region that have Tana coffee. So I've been to Vanuatu, and I saw that one of the things I've seen, and one of the things also that's important in branding, is that branding doesn't begin or stop at your product. You are the extension of your brand. You are walking your brand. You live your brand. And this is when Vanuatu, or when Tana Coffee talk about community, you can see them in community. You can see the impacts of them in community. When cigarettes cause lung cancer, it's on the label. And in Fiji, people, it's funny, when you're thinking about marketing and branding, in Fiji, when people buy cigarettes, it's like, it has the warning. I mean, the mind there, it has the warning. It says, causes lung cancer, causes unborn babies, and people will buy it like that. Oh, can I have lung cancer? Can I have? So you have to be careful too of the way that you put across your messaging and your branding. So ideally, what we want is the longer term impact of branding. But branding takes time. It focuses on relationship and trust, and this is what I'll share with you some of the data that we had gotten from our consumer preference survey. So this is from a well-known brand, Kapilano Honey, and I was looking at how the branding changes over time. So brands may have a single message, but the way they portray the message changes over time. And one of the key things about that is because they know who their market is. They know their market, they know their customers, they know their preferences, they get feedback, and so they change according to the market that they're serving, but knowing that they are market oriented. One of the things that I find when talking with farmers in general is that most agribusinesses will start first with the product and continue from there. There's a bit of a gap in understanding where the product should end, beginning with the market and working backwards. Where am I marketing? Who am I marketing to? What are their preferences? And then branding accordingly. So this is a group that was in our dinner last night, and their banners at the back, Fiji Water, and this is something that's happening, worldwide when it comes to branding. It's not about the product when it comes to branding. It's more than water. So this is their website. I took a look at their website, and the first thing you notice is it's pristine. It's like a rainforest. It evokes emotion. That's what effective branding does. It evokes emotion. What sort of emotion do we want people to know about the fact that climate change is impacting beekeepers? Do we have branding around why it's important to buy Pacific honey? Because it helps us as we struggle with climate change. So building that story, building the narrative. So this is also from Fiji Water. This is the brand, which is essentially our story. So this is something that we also shared with beekeepers. And with many other farmers. It's a story, it's a journey. And like what I had told, you are walking. You are the living the living version of your brand. And yesterday I told Kyle, you know what I believe during dinner? I looked at all the beekeepers and everyone's networking and busy and exciting. And I said, I truly believe that people become what they farm. And then he said, what do you? And I said, I just see the beekeepers, they're exactly like bees. They're very excited, they network, they talk to each other, they communicate. I don't know where the queen bee is, but that's a different point. But yeah, you are a living version of your brand. This is something else that I got that sort of evoked emotion to me, and I think the Samoan group will know very well, women in business development, and on their website, it's just this picture of, that's our vision, which is they're able to contribute fully to the development of the communities, job creation, participation in village economy, and you can see very clearly what the message is. What is the message of their branding? So it's important to be market-oriented. Start with your market. How well do you know your market? This was also one of the results from our survey of 174 people. And we asked consumers those who did buy brands, why did you buy that particular brand? And you can see here, the major thing that stood out for them was a great honey or bee product brand is about a quality product and a good relationship with the producer. So relationships and trust, in my view, is core to branding. When we asked about prices, because price is also important when it comes to their choice of choosing a brand, they said, yeah, I will compare. I will compare brands, but that doesn't mean I'm going to buy the cheaper one. So consumers will compare prices, but they do have at the back of their mind things like quality, convenience, consistency, and the relationship with the producer. What do they know about the producer? What do they know about the producer's story, the producer's brand? Is there a particular brand that you purchase often? This is one thing that we found, is that largely in the, well, I'll only say that we had 174 respondents, but 75% of them said, I don't particularly buy brands normally, but 25% do. So there's a large opportunity, and this is probably with other Pacific honey and bee products, there's a large opportunity to do more active branding. So customers are loyal to where they buy honey, but not really loyal to what brand. And how the question is, how will you improve your branding and ensure customers are loyal to your products? I think before I go on to this, one of the important things is record keeping. It's very hard for you to track how well you're marketing if you're not recording. Even recording your customers. How do you record your customers? How do you record your retaining customers, your repeat customers, your best customers? Customers you might need to work a little bit more on. Customers you're like, I don't really need to get money from you. So that, that's the reality of business. This slide here is about marketing, which is different from branding. So branding is about you, and you being the extension of your business, but marketing is the tool to get your message out there. And there's many, many ways to do that. In the Pacific, word of mouth is very good. But it does two things. It can either tarnish your brand, or it can do really good for your brand. But in our experience running our own small business is you can also use your own workers as your salespeople. If you are living your brand, your workers, your team, your staff will also be living that brand. And it'll be easier for them also to become your salespeople. Mass media, I think, is a traditional form. Social media is massive in the Pacific. Over 80% of people on Facebook, in Fiji alone, and I'm sure in the Pacific, a lot of people are on social media. So that's a powerful way to reach out and get your message across. I think the last one is also really important. If you are presently in the market, you're consistently there. People see you. People see your product. Whenever they call you, you always have supply. You always have your logos and things. You're consistently there. Rain or shine, people can call you up, and you'll tell them, yes, I have product. Online sales is powerful, like what I said. Most people weren't aware that you could get honey online. This was also from our survey. So you can tell that people just didn't know that that honey was available online. If it probably was, they'd probably do a lot more buying online. So I'm just focusing on online marketing because it's a bit more innovative, but I understand that this is where our youth too need to be involved. There's a lot of women and youth that are involved in post-harvest. So online marketing, there's many ways of carrying out online marketing. Social media is only one of them. So this is my last slide. So in terms of just the summary and considerations, as iterated, you are your brand. Marketing is the channel to communicate your brand. And I think from all of this, one thing we're good in the Pacific, where we're good at, is relationships and trust. Brands take time to build. So also we need to be patient. But after hearing a lot about climate change, I throw the question to you, how do we use climate change as a form of your branding? I think we need to think a bit outside the box when it comes to branding. Okay, that's all. Thank you.